Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple hours, along with Spence.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. We
I'm
got
in my Zen garden here.
you're in your Zen garden.
That's it.
Okay. Um, Katie, Gal, and Nick are away, so it's just Spence and me, and it's probably going to be a shorter show today. But anyway, and Happy New Year to everybody.
A shorter show
Our
like this?
our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is being brought to you by Vimix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Yep, a new year.
Yes, we are here in the new year.
Yes, we are. It's,
So far,
so far, it's,
no disasters anyway.
yeah.
Getting there. Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's been a pretty easy transition for us the last couple of years, so going through the new year, because usually things change. But this year we had to change insurance policies, health insurance. So it's going to be fun to
Oh,
see what the new one is like. Yeah, the policy we were on decided not to do business anymore, and they went out of business. So we had to, I wouldn't say scramble, but we had to look to see what we were going to join. So we'll see how it goes.
I mean, why did they decide that?
Don't know.
Damn.
I don't know. They didn't give any explanation. And it happened rather suddenly because if you looked at the insurance, no word was really went out until this early December that they weren't going to. Everything, all indications were that they were going to be around, and then suddenly, oh, got this notice. So we've decided we're not going to, we'll no longer be operating. They said in North Carolina, but the plan itself is gone everywhere. So
Huh. Which
too bad.
company is that?
It was called Lasso Health Insurance. It's a Medicare. What was unique about it was it's a healthcare savings account
Yeah.
plan. So they give you money at the beginning of the
Right.
year to use. There's also a deductible, but if you didn't go to the doctor a lot, you got to keep the money. So,
Hmm.
all right, we found a good plan. It's local. So,
Oh, good.
the Alan just mentioned about the Alaska Airlines
Yeah.
happening, and I've flown Alaska a
Hmm.
lot. Liked them. I mean, it's they're all over the country now, which is amazing. They had a disaster. It's got to be 10 years ago or more, where a plane went down in the Pacific Ocean because the elevator in the back froze and they couldn't correct it,
Wow.
and it crashed. Yeah, that was tragic. But it's been a long time since there's
Yeah,
been
this one, I
an air
mean, it
disaster.
looked like really
Oh,
bad.
can
Like,
you imagine? It,
wow, how they
yeah,
all
they
came
said
out.
it was this is one of the new 900X. This is one of the new ones that were banned, that were taken offline for all that time because of software.
Yeah.
And now they've shut them down worldwide again.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I didn't understand this. It says it was an exit door that was decommissioned that they weren't using. It was part of the design of the plane, but they decided not to use it as an exit. It seems odd to me, but
Yeah. Yet they came out.
yeah.
Yep. All right. Let's see what we have here. Microsoft has begun ditching WordPad from Windows and removed the editor from the first Canary channel build of 2024.
Oh, I'm so sad.
Yeah. We knew
Oh,
it was coming, but the reality has arrived in the Canary channel. A clean install will omit WordPad as of build 26020 of Windows 11. At an undisclosed point, the application will be removed on upgrade. So
I
I
suppose
don't
there are
know.
people that use it.
Did you ever use it?
I did once because there was a machine I was working on for somebody that didn't have any Word or Office on it,
Yeah.
and I needed to open a document, and that's what I used to open the document with.
Oh yeah, that's right. If you don't, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's a
yeah,
very
yeah,
limited editing,
yeah,
but you could view a document with it.
yeah.
So, I don't know if it will work with the DocX versions from Word now, if it's
Doesn't
backwardly
matter.
compatible.
It's gone.
Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, if it's
Um,
something worth mentioning now that if there are people who are not using Office because it's too expensive, take advantage of some of these uh, bulk license dealers that are able to sell older versions. Like I have Office 2019 that I
that's not
purchased
old.
license. No, I mean it's older. It's not the
Yeah.
latest one, but it's a full time, lifetime,
Right.
regular license. It's not a renewable thing,
Yeah.
and you can get it. I mean, I was getting messages over the holidays from Stack Social is the name of the
Yep.
website. They sell a lot of stuff. I mean, they sell electric bicycles. I mean, it's
Huh?
just they sell all kinds of stuff, but they do sell software. They'll sell Windows 10 and 11 Pro uh, operating systems, but they had a special. It was $29 for a lifetime license
Yep.
of Office 2019 Pro. So that's what I have on all my machines now.
Yeah. I mean, it happens in many places. I mean, sometimes PC Magazine will do it.
Yeah, you'll
Stack
see. Yeah.
Overflow over. Oh,
What was that other place we used to go to
I'm
for software a long time ago? It was a clearinghouse. It kind of fell off the
trying
radar.
to remember. That's what I'm trying.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, it got weird after a while. I remember trying to buy something there and I did. And the license, it never worked. I think it was really cheap too. It was like $7 or
Oh, you're
whatever it was.
talking about these. Yeah, I still get licenses from some of those outfits.
I mean,
And
if it's a legitimate thing, it's not
yeah,
illegal
right. It's not
because
illegal.
they basically buy the rights to a bunch of unused
Yeah,
bulk address,
it's
a bulk.
illegal. It's kind of illegal for the dealers that sold it to them. You see, when you sell Microsoft Office or whatever, or anything that you're selling for Microsoft, you have to sell so many a month.
Ah,
And if you don't, they may take you off of that. Yeah, they won't, you are no longer authorized.
yeah,
So what they do at the end of the month, or I don't know if the end of a quarter or whatever, they take all the excess one that they didn't sell and they sell it
to a
for very cheap
clearinghouse.
to
Yeah,
some of these
yeah,
aggregators.
yeah.
And these are legitimate Microsoft licenses.
Well, I
So
haven't heard any stories about Microsoft pushing back from them because they are legal licenses, unless in the
yeah,
agreement it says they can invalidate them.
I that I don't know that they can do it to that,
Because
because
the remember the other system, the other place we used to use, you had to download it from their site.
yeah,
Now you go, you just said to log into Microsoft and download it from Microsoft. You have to have a Microsoft account to
Right.
do it,
Yeah.
and it's a legal. You're installing it, and it works. And it's never never been a problem with going through authentication.
Right.
So
This is just like you
yeah,
got it from
yeah.
original. There's nothing, yeah, nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. And you can get, I mean, it's anywhere from, it's not $7 anymore. It's like $9 and $8. And you can go and get Windows. I mean, Windows 11, 695. Windows 11
Mm.
Professional. And I had a problem with one of them that it would not activate, and got in touch with those guys, and they sent me, I think we talked about it, about activating, that there was a problem in Windows activating because they took out the ability to upgrade from Windows 8 and 10 to Windows 11, and they screwed something in the process, and it did not allow a bunch of, I mean, thousands and thousands of computers around the world could not
Now that's not
activate.
true. I Microsoft doesn't make any
Yeah,
mistakes.
of course not.
They would never do that.
Yeah, and they just sent me another one, and it worked right off the bat. And they said, "Yep, we have a lot of these problems," and they sent me the link to the Microsoft article about it. All right. NVIDIA has throttled the performance of its GeForce RTX 4090 GPU by roughly 11%, allowing
Wow.
it to comply with US sanctions and be sold in China.
Oh, chipset issues. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
but
how long will it take for them to come up with a patch to?
yeah, I don't know,
Uh,
but the thing that you need to watch out for if you are in the uh, business of buying a new GPU is to check, because it could be that these were destined for China and it didn't make it. If they're a little cheaper or whatever, you need to check and see if that's the case. Then you don't buy it. This makes it harder or more problematic for American consumers, in my opinion. It says dubbed as the RTX 4090D. Remember that, 4090D. The device appears on NVIDIA's Chinese market website Thursday and boasts performance roughly 10.94% lower than the model NVIDIA announced in late 2022.
D stands for dumb down.
Dumb down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, just remember that if you see a 4090D, if you're in the market for 4090 RTX 4090 GPU, make sure it's not a 4090D. That's that will give you a slower card.
Kind of broken out of my must upgrade philosophy that I used to have, where every few years I'd say, I got to build something new.
Yeah.
And now I'm adopted a different turn. It's like, I'll let this go until it stops working.
Yeah. It works.
I mean, having an 8-core processor, even though it's old, it's still
Yep.
incredibly fast.
Absolutely.
And I don't use it for
Let's
anything
let's put it this way. It's
intensive.
fast enough to do what you're trying to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the new laptop I bought, the Lenovo with the Windows 11 on it,
Yeah.
that's a i3. It has 6 processors.
Mhm.
It's not virtual. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's amazing. Leaps forward. Did you see the story about Google is starting to remove third-party cookies?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it
Go
says
ahead.
they're going to do it in phases. They've
Yeah.
started with the first 30 million people. Why can't you just do it to everybody? Why do you have
Uh,
to wait till the end of the year? I guess and it's all got to do with how they target advertising.
Probably.
Oh, that's what it said. It said they started the number will expand over the coming months as as Google completely does away with cookies in late 2024, you'll still see plenty of ads, but the way they're targeted will change. So they'll come up with another way to target you. So
Of course, that's how they
yeah,
make a bunch of money.
yeah. But so I have to say, some of the weird ads that you get, some of the stuff that's out there is just who buys this crap? I mean, it's not literally it get this
It's not
one
who buys this stuff, it's who pays for the ads.
right, right. There's a few that show up all the time, like on X or on Instagram, and they are basically drop ship resellers that
Uh-huh.
everything comes from China, and
Right.
usually the shipping times are weeks, so it's not coming from the United States.
Yeah.
There's a couple of really annoying ones that sell very strange things. I'm tired of seeing the the amazing drone for like $65 that they show them pounding it with a hammer and pouring water over it and all this other stuff. It's like, that is total crap. You read the reviews and people said it doesn't do that. It's not the quality that you see,
Uh,
and then you can't return it. I got fooled by
well,
that once a couple of years ago, where I got an ad, and it looked legitimate, and it was for a drone, a small compact folding drone, and it was about $100. And this is a couple years ago, and it had several features that I really liked.
mhm,
It had station keeping, where you can set it to follow you, so you're walking down a path, and it will literally stay behind you at a certain altitude and distance. I thought that's really cool. And you're walking through something you want to record. It would be great if you could have 10 feet above you and 10 feet back. So I ordered this thing, and thank you for your order. We'll tell you when it's shipped. So week goes by, nothing. Start to get concerned. I contact him. Oh, no, no, well, don't worry. It's being processed. We'll be
oh,
shipping it within the next few days. Nothing. And then a week later, actually, it was less. It was within a week. Get an alert from CityCard. Did you buy two software games in London? No.
uh,
And there it was. My card was compromised. So I
yep,
had to cancel my card, get another card. And then it went on. Oh no, we're getting a new supply in. We'll be getting it to you soon. So I actually contested it with the credit card
mhm,
company, and they went to the seller and they said, "What's going on with this order?" It says, "Oh, everything with the ordering process is fine. There's no problem. But the only problem is we never got it."
mhm,
So I had to go back to Citibank again to say, I'm not complaining about the ordering process. I'm complaining about not getting the product. Oh, so then they refunded my money, and they did whatever they do,
yeah.
claw back or whatever they do to get the money back from the vendor if they can.
In many cases, they can.
Yeah, but I was made whole. It's just that I
Yeah.
my card was compromised. So
Yep, that happens.
fool me once, fool me twice.
I had a thing with a credit card. Last week, I got a letter from Chase saying, if you did not send the payment, a new payment, then please do. And they said that this is not about me charging something. This is about me paying the bill. And I always pay the whole thing. So it was $300. And they said that the payment was reversed. They said, we got your payment and we sent it to the bank, but it was returned to us. So I said, why was it returned? And she said, I don't have a reason. You need to call the bank. So I called the bank and
That's
I
that's
talked.
really unusual. That's usually the opposite thing where
Yeah,
you
I
can't.
know. So
Oh, they take them.
the bank says, we don't see anything that we returned or rejected or turned down. You may want to call the local branch and find out if maybe they got something before we do, because it takes time. So I called the local. They went through everything. I said, "Nope, we don't see anything that was rejected, turned down, returned. Everything looks okay except this check did not go through yet." And I found out also that I was doing the reconciliation at the same time of the bank, and sure enough, that check was still out there.
It didn't clear. Yeah.
So they said you need to call them and find out why. They say the two people that I talked with over there say all I can tell you is what's on the screen in front of me, and I see that the payment was reversed. I said I've never heard about payment reversed. Turned down. There was no money, NSA something, but reversed by who? They
Yeah. It
couldn't.
wasn't, the check didn't bounce.
No.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and I called the bank and I said, okay, I'm just going to pay it again. Do you think I need to put a stop payment on the check? And they said, who was it to? I said, Chase. Said, no, they're reputable. You don't need to put a stop payment on this. Just, I mean, if something happens, you let us know later. So I paid it again, but still have no idea what payment was reversed.
There was nothing, the notification that you got,
Yeah.
what was it, like an email?
No, it
Or,
was an actual mail.
oh, because I
Yeah.
you get those things in the a text message. You'll say, "This is UPS here,
Yeah,
and we're
no.
having trouble delivering this package."
Yeah. No, this was
And
this was legit. I mean, and I went and I logged into the account to see, the transactions, and it says $300 payment reversed. The hell is payment reversed? I still don't know, and nobody can explain it. But
you should have called them and say, "Take it out of reverse and put it in drive and go forward." You're in the wrong gear.
yeah, yeah.
They have a guy that sits at a console and he got a steering wheel there. Oh, going to reverse this check. Drop, pop the clutch, and let's go.
Did you hear about SpaceX? The new stuff.
I know there've been a couple of new things the last couple of days, but I didn't really
Tuesday's
follow.
launch was different. SpaceX launched its first batch of Starlink satellites designed to connect directly to unmodified smartphones. After getting a temporary experimental license to start testing the capability in the United States, 6 of the 21 Starlink satellites that launched on a Falcon 9 rocket carry a payload that the company said could provide connectivity for most 4G LTE devices when in range. SpaceX plans to start enabling texting from space this year in partnership with cellular operators, with voice and data connectivity coming in 2025. We talked about that. Although the company still needs regulatory permissions to provide the services commercially, initial direct to smartphones test would use cellular spectrum from SpaceX's US mobile partner T Mobile, and SpaceX has also partnered with mobile operators in Australia, Canada, Chile, Japan, New Zealand, and Switzerland. So you'll be able to connect. Who knows how much it's going to cost?
And
Like,
when they say unmodified
yeah,
cell
I
phones,
don't,
that
I
means
don't know.
they're using a 4G
Unmodified.
transceiver.
I don't know if unmodified means unbroken,
Well, or
unjailbroken,
blocked,
or
yeah. But I don't know what technology they use to connect to the
right.
satellite
Yeah,
because that's pretty far away. I mean, even a low Earth orbit satellite is you know
yeah.
50,
It's
60 miles
right.
up. It's not like a geosynchronous satellite that's 20,000 miles away.
That we'll see.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's I know that they're about to make significant changes to the cruise ship industry. Last time we were on a cruise, a question during they had a captain's, or actually it was just I don't know if it was the captain that was there. I think it was the chief engineering officer. They had a basically a talk, and he did a tour, like a virtual tour of the ship, and talked about systems. It's a pretty new ship. Ship was only in service like 2 years,
Yeah.
and talked about. Somebody said, "Are you going to be using Starlink?" He says, "You may notice that we've installed the antennas, and they currently use a satellite technology that has these domes,
Yeah.
but they're constantly moving with to track the satellite. So as the ship moves up and down, rolls side to side, they
Yeah.
automatically position it to keep the link up. But the Starlink will greatly change the. Let's face it, the internet throughput on a ship isn't great. It's they say they lock it down so you can't stream video.
Yeah.
I
It's not there
mean,
yet.
it's
So,
not. I mean, it works. You can do email. You
mhm,
can other things you can do. It just takes a while.
yeah.
But this is going to be revolutionary. You think about it. Um,
Yup.
yeah, I'm
Uh,
eagerly awaiting the Starship next launch that's coming up. There were some issues. Apparently, they've made some changes for a military launch too. They launched the Air Force's X plane, the one that goes up and stays up there for a year and a half. They
oh,
launched that just recently, but to do that, they apparently they delayed the launch because they said there was some software issues, which is rare with SpaceX. But they did finally launch it. It was successful. I don't know that it was on a Falcon Heavy or not. I don't remember. But um, yeah, I mean the next launch of the Starship, which they're preparing for, they're waiting to get their license from the FAA to launch it, and they've made huge changes at the launch complex down in Texas at Boca Chica. They had, because of the first launch, they had these vertical um, tanks for fuel, with liquid oxygen, methane, and other things that they use. And they were damaged so badly with the launch they damaged the launch platform too, that they brought in, they're switching over to horizontal tanks that lay on the ground instead of standing up. So they're doing all that, and they're doing it incredible. I mean, from the time they had the damage to the time they started replacing the tanks was like a couple of weeks. Can you imagine if it was NASA? It would be a couple of years before they even decided what to do. um, but they've already started putting those tanks in. They completely refurbished the launch pad. They're building another one nearby to take care of the shock wave effects of the launch. They put in a water system that blasts water everywhere to tone, and it fixed it now, so they're not damaging the pad when they take off. So they've made incredible. They just move at such a fast speed, and yet they're so reliable. They have over 200 something uh, launches that reuse the booster. What they said, any of these other companies that are trying to do this now, it would take them, even if they were doing it at the same rate that SpaceX is every year, it would take them like 20 years to catch up because they're so good at it now.
mhm. Yeah,
It's
they
amazing.
started good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing.
All right. Change of subject. According to Moffett Nathanson, the U.S. pay TV industry had its worst ever third quarter after losing about 900,000 subscribers.
Ooh,
The poor result, the research firm added, left the total pay TV industry shrinking at a record pace of minus 7.3%, widened from a year ago decline of minus 5.9%. Uh, this is coming from light reading. It also left pay TV penetration of occupied households It's just 54.8%, a level last seen in 1989, 5 years before the debut of DirecTV.
Hmm.
So they are it's just like it's a snowball at this point. I don't know what can they do.
They have to change if they're going to
A
survive.
lot of them don't. So I don't know what that's what I mean. You're set up to be a TV uh station. I'm sure they're not talking here about like Time Warner only. They're talking about all the TV.
Well, there was a concept that it was always weird to me of a company doing a managed decline. They knew that they were outdated,
Yeah,
and they knew that over time they'd have to keep getting smaller, but they would milk it if they could make money off of it somehow by cutting back on operations, cutting back on personnel, and whatever. They would manage it to the point where it finally went away, knowing it was not going to. There was no way to revive it. Well, maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe these companies realize, oh, we're going to keep losing people, but if we keep laying people off and keep cutting content,
yeah,
we'll make a little money till it's gone. So I think it's unusual in today's world because everybody wants to make a killing and huge profits. But
yeah, yep. Uh,
oh well,
Not thinking straight.
we had a
Um,
bunch of guys went out to lunch local from the neighborhood here on Friday, and we talked about who has what streaming services.
mhm.
And all of us were some like one guy in particular said, "All I have is YouTube TV. That's it. That and internet."
That's not cheap.
No, but it's comprehensive. It gives you most things that people want.
Yeah,
So I'm
but
thinking about
it's not much
no, it's not
cheaper
cheap.
than
No, so
Spectrum.
and Spectrum has their Spectrum TV app,
Yeah,
or and it's just another. You know, they're going to eventually. There are people that won't go over, and one guy said his wife in particular will not change
right.
because she knows how to use the DVR, knows
Yep.
what the what the guide looks like, and here are the buttons I press, and here's the functions that the remote does. I won't They won't change, so they're
Well,
going to stay with Spectrum.
that was the almost the same case here when we did away with Spectrum. Kathy did not want to change because she knew the DVR, she knew the remote and everything. And suddenly it was something new. And it didn't take her long though, 2 or 3 weeks, and she mastered it.
Pam, the same thing. She didn't really balk at it because we knew we needed to do something,
Yeah,
but she wanted to have a way to record certain over the air channel
yeah,
shows
yeah,
without having us buying a YouTube TV.
right.
And I bought that recast. And since I since I put in the smart plug that resets it every Sunday night, turns it off and on again, I haven't had much trouble with it freezing up. It used to every once in a while. You could. The funny part about it was you could watch shows, but you went into the Fire TV app and you looked at everything would be grayed out for the recast. You couldn't do anything. You couldn't delete shows, but you could watch them, which was odd. And it said network disconnected, but you knew
Oh, I
it was
remember that.
working.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems to be now that I have a smart plug on it, and I have an old a routine that says every Sunday night at or Sunday morning at 2 a.m.
Uh-huh.
turn it off for 5 minutes and let it reset. It seems to work, and I have all the network stuff on it too together,
Yeah.
all the little switches because
Is
I
it
found
is it recording locally or is it recording?
no, it's recording off my antenna.
No, but I mean, where is it? Where is the recording?
Oh, it's in the recast box. It has a
Okay,
one
so
terabyte drive.
locally, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
local. You can access it remotely. If
yeah.
you have the Fire TV app on your phone, you can access it. They do provide through your login, you'll be able to access it through the internet and watch
Yeah.
content.
No, and there are so many solutions out there that it's not even funny. I mean, and every solution has a bunch of subscribers.
You do you remember
So
I tried this the first year I went to Alaska in 2014. I was looking for something to do this with, and I bought something called Simple TV, and it was basically a box with two tuners in it, and you plugged in a USB drive to it, and it would record. And it did what the recast does, just not very well. And it was around for about 2 or 3 years, and then they threw in the towel and they left they just got out of the industry.
hmm,
But it was an early version of that that actually worked. I could tune in, I could go across the internet and log in and watch content that was recorded at home up there because we didn't want to buy cable up there. So I would just use my phone. It worked. Not very well, but it worked.
it worked. Is that the one that you had a you were talking some maybe it was afterwards. You got another monitor, or was that the one on or is that this one that you were playing it off the phone, like you said?
No, I go this the last, not this year, but last year when Pam was up there with me, we were both working. I bought a portable 15-inch monitor
Yeah,
that I bought, and I bought the HDMI adapter
right.
for my iPhone, and that's how we would watch it.
Yep.
So that way, yeah, it worked out good. And I didn't
Alright.
get throttled. I was still Verizon then, and they didn't throttle me. Everything worked. So
We're, we were talking about Netflix, that you can't watch it in 2 different places, and Hannah was saying something about being able to get it on her phone and cast it to the TV, and at that point, it doesn't count as one because Kathy is using it too.
that's I, it's interesting because we have one extra one. One of our daughters was on our account, and
Yeah,
then she doesn't live here,
right.
and so it's costing an extra $8 a month
Yeah.
for her to use it.
No,
So,
I mean, we're still I mean,
but
paying.
that's a good idea. Is to take it off of the smart TV and just
Yeah,
do it through the phone because the phone remote users like that on the phone, it doesn't.
right.
Yeah, it's only looking at ones that are installed
So
on a
it's
streaming
interesting. So
box.
there are ways around it, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yep. Alright. OpenAI plans to launch the GPT store, its app store for AI, next week, the company informed customers Thursday. The company, which initially planned to launch the App Store late last year, but delayed amid the corporate drama, didn't share how it plans to split revenue with developers. But I mean, they're going to have an App Store for AI related software, which is going to be, I think, pretty interesting. I still don't do much. I mean,
So
I did, but
will they have a toolkit to help you integrate it into whatever you're trying to use it for?
I have no idea. I have
You
no
can.
idea, but the point is they're going to have it.
I want to have an AI uh, ordering assistant for the restaurant I open. You walk in the door, you scan the QR code, and you talk to the AI. What can I get you today? Say, I like this. Oh, would you like that with French fries or potato chips? You know,
Talking about ChatGPT, code within the latest version of the ChatGPT Android app suggests that you'll soon be able to set it as the default assistant app, replacing the Google Assistant. Android Authority reports The ChatGPT version 1. Blah, 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 released last month added a new activity named com.openai.voice.assistant activity. The activity is disabled by default, but after manually enabling and launching it, an overlay appears on the screen with the same whirling animation as the one shown when using the in-app voice chat mode. This overlay appears over other apps and doesn't take up the entire screen like the in-app voice chat mode does. So, presumably, you could talk to ChatGPT from any screen by invoking this assistant. However, in their testing, the animation never finished and the activity promptly closed itself before they could speak with the chatbot. This could either be because the feature isn't finished yet or is being controlled by some internal flag. So they don't let you really use it, but they saw it in the source code. I remember in the early days, they said there's not going to be any kind of phone that's going to be able to use ChatGPT because there's not enough power.
Well,
Obviously, things change.
they just had to offload as much as possible. I just asked ChatGTP 3.5. I said, "How smart are you?" And it says, "I don't possess intelligence or consciousness. I'm a machine learning model created by OpenAI, designed to generate human-like text based on the input I receive."
You know, I see more and more articles out there on news sites that I'm thinking, okay, this thing was not written by a person. For one reason, there will be words repeating themselves. Um, there was a democracy in that region, or I mean, words that should not, will, it will do that. But a lot of them, and I'm saying, either editors are going through this and not realizing, the writer is obviously, if they wrote it like this, shame on them. But I'm saying, no, it's probably AI. They're utilizing AI and AI just seeing a word and it's leaving it there. Or it's creating an article from points that they give them. I have no idea. I'm just guessing. But I see no good reason why an article would have repeating words like it did not delete some words that were supposed to be deleted. I don't know.
Whatever does from the gathering of information or organization of information to the actual
Yeah,
composing of the document is broken.
I don't know.
Yeah. Or maybe the the computer that it was sitting on, oh, actually it's on a train, and every so once in a while it hit a bump, and I would say
Boom.
it twice. They
Yeah.
move it around. They don't want it to sit in one specific place.
All right. The Justice Department is in the late stages of investigation into Apple and could file a sweeping antitrust case taking aim at the company's strategies to protect the dominance of the iPhone as soon as the first half of this year. The agency is focused on how Apple has used its control over its hardware and software to make it more difficult for consumers to ditch the company's devices, as well as for rivals to compete. Specifically, investigators have examined how the Apple Watch works better with the iPhone than with other brands, as well as how Apple locks competitors out how they lock him out of its iMessage service, something that's just happening lately with Beeper. They have also scrutinized Apple payments system for the iPhone, which blocks other financial firms from offering similar services. So apparently, Justice Department has been looking into Apple for some time, and they said that I don't know what it means, sweeping antitrust case, but it looks like they're ready to put the money where the mouth is.
Apple's always been kind of this different, company and
As far as
attitude.
what?
Oh, just the way they do business, and good or bad, they're sometimes overconfidence or brushing away of, oh, we don't deal with that. We don't have that kind of concern. Don't worry. So, but they tend to approach a market from the perspective of we're the best here. Don't look anywhere else. And I can understand that, but they kind of they don't look, they're behind. They're not anywhere near close to what PCs are, but they have their niche market. And when it comes to phones, they own the market for smartphones.
Yeah,
Basically, I think what's the way? I'm going to ask, what's the latest um, market share numbers for them?
I don't know. I don't follow it, so I have no idea.
I can't ask Chat API because that'll be 2 to 3 year old data. I'll do a search on it.
Yeah, I mean the information should be out there. Uh, but it's just that they are. It's just the way they're doing it. I mean, see no reason why they were making it hard for Beeper, making it impossible for Beeper to make it available for Android users. It's not like, I mean, I don't think people are going to switch to an iPhone just because of iMessage. I mean, if you do, then something's wrong with you. But
Especially when they can just use chat, and
yeah, there's a lot of ways.
person on the iPhone side is not restricted. I can send
Right.
them within iMessage, or from my chat on my iPhone. I can send messages to a mixed group of people, and there's no issues.
Yeah.
So why it has to be iMessage?
Uh, who knows?
I don't exclusively use, like, I don't go, if I'm going to send a message to somebody, I don't go to iMessage to send it. But if I send a text to another iPhone user, it automatically becomes an iMessage. I don't have to worry, because you'll see the difference is when you send a text to a mixed group, the screen is going to be green. And when you send it to only iPhone users, it's blue. So it's sending it differently. The weak part of that is excluding somebody accidentally. Well, I've really run into any issues with it. And what's nice about iMessage is it allows you to move. Kathy have an iPad?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she can, does she know how, does she have an iPhone?
No.
No. All right. Then it wouldn't be a big deal. But if you have an iPhone, you can move phone calls and texts to the iPad to work in conjunction. So if I get a text on my iPhone, it's repeated on my iPad. I can take calls if I'm home and my phone is nearby on the same Wi-Fi network. I will get the call on my iPad, and I can do the call the same way as I did it on my phone,
Ah,
and open up FaceTime, and all those things are valid. So that's a nice feature if you're into the Apple ecosystem.
yeah. If you're into it, then
Yeah.
you're already in. But to make it hard for people to,
Yeah, that's the arrogance that I
that's
don't understand, because is it really, if you look at the business model, is it really hurting them?
it
I
shouldn't.
don't think so. It's just they just for whatever reason somebody doesn't like it.
Yeah. All right.
So
Um, internet service provider. A cartel in the embattled central Mexico state of Michoacan, um, set up its own makeshift internet antennas and told locals they had to pay to use its Wi Fi service or they would be killed.
killed.
Killed, according to prosecutors.
Ooh.
Dubbed narco antennas by local media, the cartel's system involved i- internet antennas set up in various towns built with stolen equipment. The group charged approximately 5,000 people elevated prices between 4 and 500 pesos, which is 25 and 30. I don't know that that's elevated, but I guess for them it is. A month. The state prosecutor's office told the Associated Press that meant the group could rake in about $150,000 a month. People were terrorized to contract the internet service at excessive costs under the claim that they would be killed if they did not.
So if you read it, if you're signing up with one of these outfits and the terms of service actually say, if you don't do what we want you to do, we'll come and kill you.
I don't know.
Please click here.
It says
Wow.
that though they did not report any such deaths, local media identified the criminal group as a faction known as Los Viagras. Prosecutors declined to say which cartel was involved because the case was still under investigations. But they confirmed that Los Viagras dominates the town's force to make the Wi-Fi payment.
That's interesting. Los Viagras.
Yeah, I know. But in ISP, hey, break your knees. If you don't, this is going, will kill you if you don't.
Hmm.
Um, Passwords. LastPass notified customers last week that they are now required to use complex master passwords with a minimum of 12 characters to increase their account security.
Oh, I've been using that for a long time, even before
Yeah.
they said you
Yeah.
can get away for less.
The funny thing here is with the 12 or whatever, or with more complex, um, I had to take the freeze off of my three uh, bureaus, credit bureaus,
Yeah.
for the bank to check our credit score. So I did. And in between, I said, it's time to update here. So I went to change password. And instead of that complex upper, lower characters and numbers and special, I said, I'm going to use here also a sentence.
That's supposed to be better now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went and I put the sentence, and maybe it had about 25, 30 letters. It came back, it says maximum 12.
Whoa.
And
That's
that's
weird.
on a credit bureau. I think that was the not
Experian,
what's the other one? There's
Equifax,
or
TransUnion.
TransUnion. That's the one. I'm saying what? They limit you. You know what that means? That means that their software is old.
Yes. Yep.
What a shame.
Well, That was that using because there's two. I know with TransUnion, there's two ways to unfreeze temporarily. One is to have a full login, and
I
the
did
other one is to go in as to you can authenticate using different methods to like four or five things that you have to go through
no, I
to
mean,
log in.
I have a login to it, and then I went in, and it
Yeah.
was pretty easy. But 12 max,
Ooh.
unfreaking believable.
So you should just do it as 11111111111.
Yeah, right.
I found out something cool. This is a technical thing, but I just happened having being the new owner of a Subaru.
Yeah.
I stumbled across on YouTube some pages about secret features that you don't know about, right? And a lot of them I knew by reading the
About
manual.
Subarus.
Subarus, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know? I don't know what point going forward they had this thing, but on the Outback, on the Forester, on the Ascent, their SUV models. If you go to the tailgate in the back, they have the center button that you press to open the tailgate. But off
Okay.
to the side, there's a little round or oval shaped button, single button, that if you program it, you press in a pin number, but it's not like you have a keypad. It's just like if you wanted to do two, you'd have to press twice, three times. You could put a pin code in to unlock the car if you don't have your key.
Huh.
So and they said one of the reasons they do this is because a lot of people are into the adventure lifestyle and they might be going hiking or kayaking or something and don't want to take the key with them because they're afraid they could lose it, which is it's a legitimate thing. So what they do is they can lock it in the car. You the remote can be disabled. There's a key press sequence that you do to basically put it into sleep mode, the remote. So or you can't like if you try to lock your car and the fob is inside,
Yeah.
it won't let you lock the car because they don't want you to lock your keys inside.
Yeah.
So you disable that. You can lock the door, but you can come back and you press the keypad or the button sequence opens the doors. I
Huh.
had no idea. I had no idea it existed, and
And it's not in the manual.
I don't know that it's in the manual. I didn't try to look for it, but I've been going. I see these icons and abbreviations on buttons in the car, and I'm like, what does this mean? Like automatic brake hold. You ever hear of this?
No.
It's when if you it's the idea is that if you're in traffic and you pull up to a stop at a traffic light, if you have this engaged, when you stop at the traffic light, you can take your foot off the gas pedal and it will hold the brake.
Um, this is in many cars automatic thing.
Yeah. So, but it holds. You mean it holds the brake so you don't move?
Right.
Yeah. So this I had
The
never seen
minute
this
you touch
before,
the brake,
and it
it's
goes again. Yeah.
yeah.
Or they have this thing where you if you step on the brake at the light, you can't use both that this you can't use the automatic brake feature and the automatic shut off feature. Automatic shut off features when you step on the brake and within like 5 seconds of stopping, the engine shuts off. And then when you let go of the brake, it starts and you go. So that's another weird one that I don't know that actually makes a big difference on saving on gas.
Ah,
But the automatic lane adjust, I know that that's been around for a while. I've rented cars that had that. I've never had one that had it. But it's got smart cruise control where you can set the distance in front and behind you so that if you're cruising along and there's nobody in front of you and you have your cruise control set to a certain limit, it will if somebody comes up behind you, it's aware of that and tries to adjust your distance and same thing going forward. Oh, what are some of the other
oh,
weird things?
weird things,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
they're
it's
good things to know.
they're good things to know, and
Yeah.
I'm going to learn how to use them all. But it's a little daunting at first.
All right. When did you get your first keyboard?
Keyboard,
Yeah, or computer.
it was built into a Commodore PET.
I'm talking. Sorry, PC.
My first PC. Was
Since you got it, how many times did was it upgraded, changed?
the keyboard?
Yeah, the keys.
The only reason I changed it was when the connector changed on the actual
Right.
PC itself.
Yeah, but I mean,
I like the old.
they added the Windows
Oh,
key,
yeah, yeah.
things like that. So Microsoft now is adding a dedicated Copilot key to PC keyboards, adjusting the
Copilot.
standard Windows layout for the first time since 1994.
Mm.
I don't know that that's true because I don't think the Windows key's been there since 94. I don't know. The key will open its AI assistant Copilot on Windows 10 and 11. On Copilot enabled PCs, users can already invoke Copilot by pressing Windows and C. On other PCs, the key will open search instead. So there's going to be another key, dedicated key,
I don't think
somewhere.
they should call it. I don't think they should call it Copilot. I think they should call it Wingman.
Wingman.
Yeah,
Oh,
watching your back, watching your six. Watch your. It's always there on the side.
yeah.
Waiting. You're the leader, but Copilot implies that. Well, I guess the Copilot is really a secondary thing. You got the pilot and the co-pilot.
Yeah. Oh,
That'll be interesting to see.
it's
I want them to create a bring me coffee key.
coffee. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just press a button, and next thing you know, there's somebody bringing it to
Yeah.
your office.
Yeah. Sure. Listen to this. This is kind of facing more than 30 lawsuits from victims of its massive data breach. 23andMe is now deflecting the blame to the victims themselves
Huh.
in an attempt to absolve itself from any responsibility, according to a letter sent to a group of victims seen by TechCrunch. Rather than acknowledge its role in the data security disaster, 23andMe has apparently decided to leave its customers out to dry while downplaying the seriousness of these events. One of the lawyers representing the victims who received the letter from 23andMe told TechCrunch in an email. So they're not saying what, not mentioning what did 23andMe told these people or why are they deflecting it, but that's amazing that a
I,
company will, you know,
who I'm trying to remember now. Was somebody high profile owned or founded 23andMe? Somebody was related to somebody else in the tech industry. I have to look this up.
I
But
don't
that
know.
is extreme arrogance. I mean,
Yeah.
is it to really say in the terms of service when you signed up for 23andMe, not responsible for data breaches of your
Well,
information?
obviously it doesn't say that, and they just came up with this after they're having 30 lawsuits.
Wow.
Yeah,
Only 30?
so far.
Well, I mean, I'm surprised that some law firm hasn't put together
Class
a,
class action.
a class action suit because
Yeah.
there's big money there.
Yeah.
And the problem with class action suits is not many people, the actual people who uh, are wronged aren't they don't get that much out of it. What was the class
Right.
action suit? Uh, was it about hard drives? I think. And I got my check. It was $1.30. I never cashed it. I have it up on my bulletin board. Give me
Yeah.
a break.
Yeah.
The lawyers made out pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Let's see.
the lawyers always are the winners, no doubt. All right,
So it's
Apple again is in the news here. Apple broke from its 12-year tradition of annual iPad updates, releasing no new models in 2023. A first since the product line debuted in 2010 when it rapidly became the tablet market leader. The last launch was in October 2022, with the only 2023 iPad related release being a USB C Apple Pencil. So, but again, why do you have to do it every year? You know,
Well,
uh, th-
because they had created a market that got to have the best one, got to have the best one. As soon as the new one came out, you had people that just remember when the lines would start to form when the first date available was put out there. People would line up and camp overnight to be the first ones in the store to buy the new phone.
yeah, they're standing right, right. Yeah, for a lot of things, but that's back then. But I mean, what? Kathy has the fourth generation. I don't know what generation they're up to now. She has it for a couple of years, few years. It's does everything she wants. Why do you have a new one? I have no idea. But obviously, it's for them to make more money because people will buy it.
I did look up the market share numbers for global smartphone market, and uh,
Yeah.
occasionally, um, for the most part, Samsung is number one, but it bounces back and forth. Like
Oh,
in the fourth quarter of 2021, Apple was ahead at 22, Samsung 19. And then the next quarter was Samsung 23, Apple 18. So it all has to do with product releases. Uh, third quarter 2022, Apple was, oh no, fourth quarter 2022, Apple was 23 and Samsung was 19. So they bounce back and forth as to who is number one. But there's a huge 33 to 29 to 33% of that is other. So I'm guessing all those other ones are Android based and not Apple based,
right.
obviously.
Obviously.
If you look at, oh, I'm getting a call. I'll be right back.
All right.
Just I gotta.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I've got another story here. Security researchers say info stealing malware can still access victims' compromised Google accounts even after passwords have been changed. A zero-day exploit of Google account security was first teased by the cybercriminal known as Prisma in October 2023, boasting that the technique could be used to log back into victims' account even after the password is changed. Can you imagine? They they had a security problem. You change your password, but they can still get into it
Oh boy.
with the new password. It can also be used to generate new session tokens to regain access to victims' emails, cloud storage, and more as necessary. Since then, developers of InfoStealer malware, primarily targeting Windows, it seems, have steadily implemented the exploit in their code. The total number of known malware families that abuse the vulnerability stands at 6, including Luma, different ones. While Eternity Stealers is also working on an update to release in the near future. Eggheads at CloudSec say they found the root of the exploit to be in the undocumented Google OAuth endpoint multi-login. The exploit involves around revolves around stealing victim session tokens. That is to say, malware first infects a person's PC, typically via a malicious spam or a dodgy download, etc., and then scours the machine for, among other things, web browser sessions cookies that can be used to log into accounts. So when they get in, they're looking for your cookies and they take them, and apparently that doesn't matter that your password was changed. They can get into it. That is bad. Unfortunately, they're not saying what to do about it.
Just the fact that it came out is amazing. If they'd be
Yeah,
trying to, yeah.
right. So you have to go?
Yeah, I should be heading out.
All right.
So,
Well, I mean, we said we'll go till 10.
yeah,
We're going
yeah.
till
Oh, we're now a little over an
10:20.
hour.
It's fine.
Yeah, we
We're,
started at like 10
yeah.
after.
So we'll cut the, the show a little shorter. All right. Anything else you wanted to add?
No, we're good.
Okay. So thanks, Spence, for joining me
No,
here.
well, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you.
No, thank you. No, thank you. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, Donna, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Update your, don't forget to back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. Also, don't forget to change any same password wherever you use them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM. You can tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave and listen to him live. Or you can go later on to the recordings at nickcraig.com. And Nick and Brian also do the Infection podcast. That's for gaming and gaming news on Twitch. Just go to infectionpodcast.com and find out when is the live show, or you can always just download the podcast. And we'll be back next week. See you, everybody, and have a happy new year again.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.